So, Chris, really appreciate you joining us inside a launch camp and recording and talking with our crew there on a session about networking. It's always interesting to see people's perspectives on how to grow their business through networking. And I think that's something that you've talked about a lot, right?
Yeah, I'm naturally shy and introverted, and the idea of cold calling or pitching somebody cold, or even asking for help to strangers is really difficult for me. So everything that has contributed positively to my businesses over the year and my career working for other people, it's all come from my network. It's all come from the people who I consider friends now, but in a professional context, you would think of as a network. And it's amazing the things that they can inspire me to do, or think of me for opportunities, put me forward for things that I would never put myself forward for. They're my best free therapy and best salespeople.
Yeah, you've always inspired us too on the things that you've done, the books that you've wrote, the experience that you have with blogging and helping people. It's always been a big inspiration to us. And I loved when I've run into you at conferences and we've had a chance to talk on the side, stand back quietly, watch what's going on, talk about building and marketing and growing businesses. And what was really interesting to me inside Launch Camp was that we saw our initial charter crew kind of going through the same thing. They wanted to learn more. They wanted to absorb. We talked about marketing. We talked about how to use call to actions to generate results on your website. And I think what both you and I noticed is that these days, having the right tools like my theme to build your website and being able to use the design pack with blocks and patterns gives you all the tools that you need. But if you're not a mason and you don't know how to set those bricks right, it's not going to come out right. And we can use any kind of analogy from building a house to growing plants. And in fact, in Launch Camp, when we were talking about those things, we noticed that those analogies for people were some of their business models that they were focusing on. And I think what both you and I realized, and what we're kind of excited to talk about today, is creating a mastermind group to help people grow their business successfully.
Yeah, one of the things that we notice a lot is the initial excitement of people having ideas and knowing all the things that they could do, and then taking the first step and either falling into analysis paralysis, which is something I'm very familiar with personally, feeling the resistance or fear, the paradox of choice. I've got 40 things I could do. Which do I do first? Or putting it on the back burner because that's something I've just learned, but it's still theoretical, and actually taking action and getting things done and moving forward and implementing so you don't forget what you've just learned is really important. And there's so much negativity out there. So many people that'll tell you that you can't do something, or why do you think you could do it? Why you? Who do you think you are? Or it could be our own. It could be our own imposter syndrome.
Right. Those are all challenges, and both you and I are here to tell people that they can do it. That with having some accountability, people talk about having accountability partners to make sure that you get things done. And in our business, we use a Slack group, and we have a daily stand-up to kind of try to give ourselves accountability. And that was shared. That was a tip that was shared with me in a mastermind group that I was in a different group. So we're always learning, and having an accountability partner to be able to say, you can do this, focus on this, and then basically assign some homework and give you 2 weeks to get it done is a really cool opportunity, I think, for business owners, for creative people, or people that have a static website and want to turn it more into an online business to be able to grow And I think both you and I are extremely excited to be able to introduce the new mastermind that we're going to put together with both you and I leading these people through how to grow their businesses.
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing for us as well as the people within it, because my best source of ideas is talking through things with other people. And we all kind of assume everybody knows what we know, or if I can do it, it can't be that difficult. And then we talk to somebody else, and then we find out that they're struggling with something we've already experienced, and we can help them. And there's a lot of coaches out there that say you shouldn't give answers, or that you should evoke soul searching so people can find answers. And I think there's a good part of that, but also sometimes you do just need the answer. You just need to know which button to press. And so I think there's a combination of things that you get from having a mastermind of people that you can openly share with your challenges, your expectations, your hopes, your failures, and also having mentors that are willing to give you the answers or help you arrive at the answers. And you don't have to do everything out of the open. You don't have to fall on your face if you don't need to. We can show where the rocks are in the path, but also that motivation of having a group of people who is going to support you and give you pats on the back and give you slaps in the face when you need them, I think is always beyond valuable. I couldn't do some things without knowing that I'm supported. I've got people who've got my back. And one of the things that we've noticed a lot, just in the last 10 years online, is the amount of heat people get by putting themselves out there. Some people call it tall poppy syndrome. Some people call it the crab bucket. But there are people who just get a kick out of dragging you down, trolls and, people attacking you in comment areas, or people brigading. And that's another thing. Sometimes you need people at your back to say, this isn't right, this isn't good, stop it, or don't worry about it. We know you're a good person. We know you're doing good things. Try and ignore them. Because if you're solo, and in these days, most of us are remote, it can feel very isolating, especially if you don't have people around you, like physically around you, that are going to give you that support. So I think the education is important. I think the productivity value of having accountability is important, but also that mental health aspect of having people who understand what you're going through. They might not 100% be there in your shoes, but they can empathize.
Yeah, I think all that is extremely important. And in the early days of us building the mastermind group together, we're going to give our initial charter members a really significant discount. The monthly fee will be set much lower than what it will be several months or from now, because we know that having you in there first is important to show you the capabilities of what you can do. We learned this in our launch camp. Now, launch camp will be set up for those who want to go through an intensive 8-day, 6-day training, multiple hours a day, and really focus on how do you launch and grow your website. But the mastermind is going to be focused on monthly and semi-monthly accountability. What are we working on? What problems do we need to solve? How do we do that? We're going to include worksheets. We're going to include inside guides. We're going to have private podcasts. We're going to have sort of like a professor's office hours check-in, where we can meet with you inside the mastermind and talk about questions and talk about business problems and solve it. And we're going to keep this initial group small, because we want to have that camaraderie. We want to have the ability to talk to each other and to be able to answer each other's questions and to help each other grow. So I hope that you join Chris and I and focus on our mastermind and focus on your mastermind of your business, and that we all get a chance to work together and really grow our businesses. We're super excited about it.